Good evening, I am April Gising Lama and these are the headlines of the hour. Teachers raised doubts even after talks with Prime Minister and the Speaker, vow to continue the movement until the education bill is passed. Parliament faces pressure to pass laws ahead of budget session. Protesters take demands for education and civil bills from streets to the House. Israel's intense bombardment on Gaza kills at least 30 people. Egyptian mediators tries to revive the January ceasefire deal. And Afghanistan qualifies for the Under-19 World Cup to be held in Zimbabwe and Namibia next year. Match between Nepal and Afghanistan gets cancelled amid downpour. Welcome back. Teachers remain unconvinced and have decided to continue their protest even after their talks with the Prime Minister and the Speaker. Since April 2nd, they have been demonstrating in Kathmandu daily from 12 to 3 p.m. and now plan to block the Maitighar Baneshwar Road from 9 a.m. tomorrow. Although the government has assured that the school education bill will be passed in the budget session, the teachers insist they will not end their protest until the bill is actually passed. The Confederation of Nepalese Teachers held a 2.5-hour meeting with Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli on Friday night, presenting detailed demands. These included stability and pay for child development centers, school staff, former higher secondary, temporary and relief teachers, as well as grade matching, salary adjustments, and the issuance of an education bill. In response, Prime Minister Oli pledged to table and pass the bill during the budget session, expressing support for its swift approval after discussions with the ruling party and parliamentarians.
हामीले एकअर्काका पोजिसनहरु पनि क्लियर गर्यौं त्यो क्रममा उहाँले भन्नुभएको मुख्य कुरा ऐन छिटो भन्दा छिटो दिन म पनि चाहिरहेको छु तर केही अप्ठ्याराहरू छन् केही मिलिरहेको छैनन् भन्ने कुरा गर्नुभयो सत्ता सहयात्रीहरुसँग छलफल गर्छु संसदहरुमा छलफल गर्छु हामी भेटघाट गर्दै गरौँला संवाद गर्दै गरौँला म तपाईहरुका पक्षमा छु भनेर उहाँले कुरा राख्नुभयो र अन्त्यमा हामीले भन्यौं हामी अब धेरै पटक सहमति गर्यौं धेरै पटक कागजमा हस्ताक्षर गर्यौं यस पटक हामी हस्ताक्षर गरेर फर्किनेवाला छैनौं.
At 11:45 p.m. last night, a team from the Teachers Federation met Speaker Devraj Ghimire at his residence. During the hour-long discussion with Federation leaders, including President Lakshmi Kishore Subedi, Co-Chair Nanumaya Parajuli, General Secretary Tula Bahadur Thapa, and Deputy General Secretary Madan Raj Joshi, Speaker Ghimire committed to passing the school education bill within 2 days, provided the Education Committee finalizes and submits it by April 24th.
Fast track बाट अगाडि लैजानको लागि चाहिँ मेरो प्रयत्न रहनेछ यसका लागि ऐन लिएरै जानुहोस् तर आन्दोलन पनि चलाउनुहोस् तर यो ढंगबाट अलिकति फरक ढंगले गइदिनुहोस् भन्ने विषयमा चाहिँ आग्रह गर्नु.
Even though discussions with the Prime Minister and the Speaker, teachers remain unconvinced that the education bill will be passed. As a result, they announced a protest in the Maitighar Baneshwar area from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The teachers insist they will continue their agitation until the Education Act is officially passed, expressing a lack of trust in the assurances and commitments given so far. The winter session of the Federal Parliament begins on April 25th, primarily focusing on budget preparation for the upcoming fiscal year. However, the session also faces pressure to finalize several pending bills. Teachers are demanding the immediate passage of the school education bill. Employees are pushing for the civil service bill, and other bills related to federalism must also be passed promptly. Given these demands, the government and Parliament cannot afford to delay addressing these critical issues. Teachers from community schools nationwide are protesting, demanding the immediate enactment of the School Education Act, which the government has pledged to pass during the budget session. However, the bill still lacks consensus in the parliamentary committee. Meanwhile, government employees are threatening agitation to pressure the inclusion of the demands in the federal civil service bill. As a result, these two bills must be prioritized. Additionally, there are urgent calls to pass the police bill related to federalism and the bill concerning the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority. Before legislative work, the government must first discuss the principles and priorities of the upcoming budget, which should be presented on May 29, incorporating suggestions from the discussion. While the main focus of this session is the budget, it does not exempt legislative responsibilities. Ruling party leaders claim that, along with regular tasks, many other important matters will also be addressed during this session.
संहिता कानुनसँग जोडिएकै महत्त्वपूर्ण विधेयकहरू सँगै निजामती विधेयक, शिक्षा विधेयक अहिले राष्ट्रिय आन्दोलनको विषय पनि बनेको छ। त्यो विधेयकलाई हामीले सुरुमै राजसाफ गर्नुपर्ने छ। त्यसैगरी प्रहरीसँग दुईटै विधेयकहरू समितिमा गएको छ, त्यसलाई टुङ्ग्याउनु पर्ने छ। नागरिकता विधेयक छ, त्यसैगरी क्यानसँग दुईटा विधेयक लगायत अन्य महत्त्वपूर्ण कतिपय सरकारले तयारी गरेको छ। कतिपय राष्ट्रिय सभामा तयारी गरेर छलफल गरेर आउनेवाला छन्। त्यसकारण अबको अधिवेशनमा हामी बजेट अधिवेशन भनिए तापनि बजेटमा मात्रै होइन, योभन्दा अगाडि काम गर्न नसकेको भनेर प्रश्न उठेका विधेयकहरू जसलाई हामीले आगामी अधिवेशनबाट निष्कर्षमा पुर्याउनु पर्ने छ।
A total of 28 bills are pending in the federal parliament, 25 in the House of Representatives and 3 in the National Assembly. If these bills progress from committee, the parliament's legislative work will be substantial. However, there is doubt among parties about the session's effectiveness, as political and party activities often dominate parliamentary proceedings.
Parliament पार्टीको नियन्त्रणमा छ अनि पार्टी अमुक नेताको नियन्त्रणमा छ। त्यसो गर्दाखेरि हामीले संविधान कानुन विधि विधान भन्दा पनि व्यक्तिमा भर पर्ने कुरा भयो हैन, नेतृत्वमा भर पर्ने कुरा भयो। यद्यपि नेतृत्वमा भर पर्नु हुन्न भनेको होइन, तर नेतृत्व त त्यो खालको नेतृत्व हुनु पर्यो नि, जसले संविधान कानुन नियम मान्ने र राष्ट्रको लागि आवश्यक कुराहरू गर्नलाई नरोक्ने नेतृत्व हुनु पर्यो नि। अनि त्यो नेतृत्वलाई ट्रस्ट गर्नु पनि एउटा बाध्यात्मक अवस्था। अनि नेतृत्व फेरि आफ्नै किसिमका मनोगत कुराहरूबाट, आफ्नै सीमितताबाट, आफ्नै प्रवृत्तिबाट ग्रसित हुने र त्यसरी संसद चाहिँ नि कता कता काम नगर्ने बनेको छ।
Issues like employee transfers, promotions and appointments have entered Parliament, overshadowing public concerns and the lawmaking agenda. However, this session must not be derailed by such matters. Experts say to address public dissatisfaction, lawmaking beyond regular budget work should be prioritized. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked in several provinces how fair is a system where laws are only made after public pressure. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
नेतृत्व जसरी सुतिराखेको छ उहाँहरू एकचोटि बुझ्न जरुरी छ र संविधानमा उल्लेख भएका कुराहरू जो कानुन बनाएर जसरी उनीहरूलाई अधिकार दिनुपर्ने हो यो दिने कुरामा ढिला गर्नुभन्दा
माग पुरा हुनको लागि आन्दोलनमै जानुपर्ने जस्तो सिस्टम बसिसक्यो के।
जनताको आवश्यकता र देशको आवश्यकता नेताहरूले बुझेकै छैन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई त। यस्तो बुझेको भए जे पनि आन्दोलनबाट स्थापित गराउने जुन जनआक्रोश बढिरहेछ त्यो त झन् खतरनाक अवस्था हो।
डलरको अकर्म नेता ढिला सुस्ती नटेर्ने जनतामा परेपराउ के भने आन्दोलन गरेपछि नै प्राप्ति हुन्छ भन्ने प्र्याक्टिस।
आफ्नो अधिकार लिनको लागि कानुन बनाउनको लागि रोडमा आउनुपर्ने परिस्थिति भनेको राज्यको निकम्मापन र राज्यको कमजोरी हो। कानुन बनाएर देशलाई समृद्धितिर लानुको सट्टा सत्ता चलाउने व्यक्तिहरू जुन सत्ता भन्दा पनि व्यक्ति केन्द्रित भएर
नेताहरूमा आत्मविश्वासको कमी, सरकार चाहिँ स्थिर नभएको कारण
नीति नियम अनुसार किन गर्दिनु भन भनेर चाहिँ माग गर्न त जायज कुरा हो।
सरकारले जनताको कुरै सुन्दैन, जनताको मागै सुन्दैन, अनि के गर्ने त हामी प्रोटेस्ट गर्न परेन।
Top leaders of 3 political parties, including Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, met today to discuss creating a favorable environment to safeguard the current political system and constitution, emphasizing inclusiveness. At a meeting held in Balota today, top leaders, including Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba and CPN Maoist Center Chair Pushpa Kamal Dahal agreed that pro-Republican forces should unite to uphold the constitution and counter those creating social unrest. The discussion also covered the work of the Recommendation Committee for selecting office bearers of the 2 Transitional Justice Commissions as shared by Premier's Human Rights and Transitional Justice Advisor Agni Kharel. Minister for Home Affairs Ramesh Lekhak and Advisor Kharel also attended the meeting. It is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. But before that, let's take a look at yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what's your take on the government's plan to reduce subsidies for farmers? 47% voted for A, regressive move, 20% voted for B, budget constraints, and 33% voted for C, attempt to prevent misuse. Now here's today's question. What do you think is the reason for highways getting blocked by landslides and erosion even before the rainy season starts? Your options are A, poor infrastructure, B, government negligence, or C, under construction. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It is time now for a short break. We have more news coming up.
Sports news.
The ICC Men's Under-19 Cricket World Cup Asia qualifier match between Nepal and Afghanistan has been cancelled. With the cancellation of this match, Afghanistan, which was ahead on the basis of net run rate, has qualified for the Under-19 World Cup to be held in Zimbabwe and Namibia next year. Due to the rain on Friday night, the pitch at the Mulpani Cricket Stadium could not dry even by 2 p.m. today. Although the match was scheduled for 9 a.m., the ground staffs used super soap and cloth to dry the outfield. However, the match was cancelled when the umpires team inspected the field until 1:30 p.m. and 2 p.m., but the field was not ready for play. Both teams have now scored 7 points each. Afghanistan was at the top and Nepal was in second place in the previous 3 matches because Afghanistan's net run rate was higher than Nepal's. Nepal's chances are gone as only one team will qualify for the World Cup.
एउटा ड्रिम थियो आजभन्दा 3 महिनाभन्दा अगाडि भनौँ न जर्नी स्टार्ट गरेको त आई थिंक त्यसको जर्नी जुन हामीले चाहिँ एउटा खुसीको रूपमा एन्ड गरौँ भन्ने थियो अनफर्चुनेटली आज वेदरले साथ दिन र दुःख नै भन्न मिल्ला हैन टफ लक भन्न मिल्ला हैन त्यही हो एकदमै स्याड छ हाम्रो अहिलेलाई त्यही पनि स्वीकार्न पर्यो हामीले यो कुरालाई.
In the previous match, both Nepal and Afghanistan had defeated the under-19 teams of Oman, UAE and Hong Kong. So this match was going to be decisive for reaching the World Cup. But the rain had an impact.
अब किन पानीको त अब हाम्रो कन्ट्रोलमा थिएन र त्यस्तो पानीको बारेमा हामीले सोचेको पनि थिएन. पानी आइदियो बीचमा अब के भन्ने थियो चाहिँ.
Nepal has played the Under-19 World Cup 8 times before. It has failed to qualify 6 times. Nepal had reached the Super 6 in the Under-19 World Cup held last year. Lalitpur City reached the Nepal Super League final for the 2nd year in a row, defeating Thangari 2-1 in a dramatic first qualifier at Dasrat Stadium despite being reduced to 10 players. Thangari still has a chance to reach the final and will play in the 2nd qualifier. Early in the match, Lalitpur's Manikumar Lama was controversially shown a straight red card after a foul incident involving Thangari's Muhammad Al-Jani, sparking criticism of referee Umesh Bidari. The first half ended goalless with missed chances from both sides. In the second half, Carbon's Belfort scored from a free kick in the 57th minute, followed by a goal from substitute Gillespie Junkarki. Thangari's Papa Ebo Kebe pulled one back, but they failed to equalize due to poor finishing. Post-match tensions arose as Thangari's Caicedo and an official were shown red cards, leading to a scuffle. This marks Lalitpur's 2nd ever win over Thangari in 5 encounters, the previous one being last season's final. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.